Sri Lanka's prisons are running at nearly 280% over capacity, with women making up around 6 to 8% of the inmate population, many jailed for poverty-driven petty crimes or drug-related offences. In our Women's Month special, committee member of the Prison Observation Committee and chairperson of the Infinite Grace Foundation, Stephanie Siriwardhana, joins us on Kaleidoscope Dialogues. A global shaper and advocate, Stephanie leads efforts in prison reform, rehabilitation and dignity restoration, championing second chances and systemic change for women behind bars. Now, women account for about 6 to 8% of Sri Lanka's prison population, but that's a minority. However, it is one that's disproportionately affected by systemic neglect.
True.
Why?
If you're talking about the actual infrastructure of the prison, yes, there's a big disparity. You see the buildings definitely need some support and need to be upkept a bit better. One is funding, to be honest, and also there was an issue where Valikada was about to be moved to Horana. So this was actually a discussion we had recently. I think they are now no longer moving. So because of that, we'll be actually able to invest and bring up everything. Also in terms of vocational training. So that's some of the things we've been working with in the women's prisons. So I guess when people donate, they immediately, because the numbers are bigger, obviously there are more men in prison. So I guess they mostly donate towards the men's prisons, I guess.
Is it that women are simply forgotten?
Maybe they only remember during Women's Day because everybody scrambles to do something for Women's Day. But I know Dushyant always told me every day should be Women's Day. So yeah, maybe there's an element. But anyway, when you're behind closed doors, everybody who is behind closed doors, whether it's sexually abused young girls who are in probationary shelters, the trafficked women, we don't even know where their shelters are. Every time you put a wall and you put people behind it, regardless of their gender, they're forgotten, out of sight, out of mind.
What are the biggest challenges faced by women inmates?
They really need something to stimulate and change their hearts. I feel like there is vocational training, but it's not as developed as the men's section. Also, in terms of space, we need more space, more infrastructure in order to do more things. They're highly overcrowded in the prison. So it's an issue that women face as well as the men, as well as remand prisoners. So let's say the capacity is 10,000, we're at 40,000. So imagine people literally sleep like sardine cans. So because of that, you're having a petty crime prisoner lying right beside a drug dealer and it could be remand, right? So they're in and out. And once they leave the prison, like that stint in prison escalates your crime level as to what you see as normal. So we have issues where a petty crime, stealing from survival, comes in because of space issues, because we don't have proper infrastructure, or the infrastructure we truly need due to various reasons, due to actual logistics of we don't have the space because we're overcrowded. They will sleep beside a drug dealer. They don't have money to pay bail. Drug dealer says, hey, call your family, tell them to sell this packet of drugs. This lovely lady who came in stealing a bunch of bananas is now leaving as a drug dealer. So it always escalates your crime level. So there are multiple issues, but the thing is they're all interconnected, Savitri. They're all interconnected. And for solutions, we need proper legislative reform because we need to put in proper structures. Because, going and just doing charity work is just putting a band-aid at the end of the day. It's not a sustainable solution.
So from what you mentioned, most of the crimes these women are in for are poverty-driven and social vulnerability.
There's also a lot of drug related, and what's interesting is the women are more drug dealers and the men are more drug users. So yeah, it's circumstantial. You can see that they are hustling in their own way. I've spoken to a few and I said, I don't want to waste my time. I said, it was one of the prisons that we went to visit, and she's apparently like a drug lord queen. And I said, if we rehabilitate you, if we do this, can you actually do you want to change your life? She said, yes, many of the women here do. I don't have that luxury.
What do you think can be done to reverse or at least make some change in this poverty-driven cycle of why these women are in prison?
There were a few suggestions we are giving in terms of legislative reform. One is to try and follow the US model, where every person is given a chance to steal under $900. And if you do steal once, you get out of jail free. And for that one time, but you have to pay for it with welfare and a fine. If you can't pay your fine, you have to do additional hours of welfare. So that one will give them the opportunity to understand, okay, it should be for like maybe 5,000-10,000 rupees, that if they're stealing for survival, then okay, we get this one chance and we won't do it again. So there you are kind of preventing overcrowding, because you're not having all petty crimes coming in. You give them a chance to immediately understand, okay, no, this is something I cannot repeat. You don't give them the opportunity to go and, deal with other people so that their crime level escalates. But you see, this is also work that has to come from society. We need to look out and see how we can improve the lives of daily wage earners, and we have to work and see how we can empower these women from slum communities to actually earn an income. Most of the time it's circumstantial. Also, we need to have a full-on campaign, which we're working on with the ICU mental health campaign, because a lot of people who are traumatized, so it's, whether it's domestic violence, there are some people who end up killing their husbands, and it's because there were a few cases where I've spoken to, the husband was abusing them. It's not just one thing that we can do in the prisons with the Ministry of Justice and just doing prison reform. It is a societal shift. We need to make sure that we're giving them an opportunity to actually earn a living, to proper counseling, proper therapy. If they're going through terrible situations, mental health is so important. We need to also make sure that they are aware of the different amazing organizations that are already working in spaces where they can go and get help. I had the opportunity to interview over 100 prisoners and hear their stories. One girl, she was early 20s, I want to say. She had a baby. And so she came to dance. We auditioned her for dancing to come and perform at Nelumbukuna. And so she was telling me, my baby speaks with an accent. She's like, it's only when I came to prison that I realized that I stopped taking drugs. If not, I was so drugged up because it was easy for me to escape my problems, right? And it was easy for me to make money. So I was always on drugs. It's only when I came to prison that I realized I never spoke one word to my child. So my child was always watching TV. And that's where this child learned to speak like that. It's so much easier to escape your problems with drugs. It's so much easier to make money selling drugs, but it's not worth it. We need proper drug rehabilitation centers, which is also something we are actually working on in tandem with a small committee that has been put together to see how we can actually create a rehabilitation center where drug addiction is treated like a health issue rather than a criminal issue. Because if you're a dealer, it's a crime. But if you're using, it's a medical issue. You're addicted. So a lot of addicts end up going to prison as well, which adds to the overcrowding, which adds to the escalation. Do you see how it's all an intricate web?
There is this double stigma when it comes to women in prison. They are ex-convicts or they are convicts and they've been to prison, and also they are women. You were proposing a certification system.
Yeah.
How is that going to help them?
I spoke to a neuroscientist, I spoke to a coach, I spoke to a psychotherapist, and we've been putting together a program called RISE, which is a formula for transformation. So to truly transform, you need to first renew your mind, to believe that you can be more than what people say you are, or more than what you believe you are. You inspire yourself with proper figures out there. You strengthen yourself with community, and then you're empowered to live the life you're truly able to. So, and in it we have a bit of CBT, a bit of proper coaching, a bit of NLP, putting everything kind of like an acharu together, and we're piloting it. The system would be, one, we take them through vocational training as they're learning maybe woodworking or sewing or whatever. We have an additional hour where we teach them the RISE program. So after we finish that, then, so before that we measure them with this application where it will ask questions like, if somebody steals 5,000 rupees from the till, it's your colleague, will you tell the management yes or no? Everybody will say yes, right? So how long did you take to say yes? Where did your eyes go? Did any muscle twitch? Because we have most of our muscles here to check micro. So using the power of AI, we measure that. Then after the RISE program, we remeasure it. And we see, one, the impact of our program. Two, we classify them, prisoner level 1, level 2, level 3, RISE certified. And then we have spoken, if it succeeds, big if, this is a plan, if it succeeds and if the pilot goes as I'm hoping it will, they said that they will consider putting it on their police clearance, so that way the actual corporates will have more of a security to take a chance.
So how are they linked up to real jobs?
It's very difficult. When they come out, they try to get real jobs. People are very afraid to give them real jobs. Most of them don't get real jobs. So that's why, there's a beauty therapy course. Some people try to become beauticians and do their own thing, in their own houses. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to link up. So what we have been looking at in the foundation is to actually start subsidiary companies where we only hire prisoners. And so we lead by example. We have not started that yet, but it is something that we have been seriously considering because we have noticed this is a huge issue. And at the end of the day, no matter how much vocational training you get, if society does not accept you and society shuns you, what chance do you have?
Women are subjected to abuse and exploitation for the most part. What is it that is being done to actually safeguard them?
I've been in and out of the prisons for 12 years. And I have to tell you, the guards are as much in prison as the prisoners. And they're like one family. I've seen it firsthand. I know people tend to think otherwise, but come to the prisons and see. They're all in it together. Lalita Sirisara, that was one of the most beautiful things I saw. So Lalita Sirisara was where we went island-wide. We went and auditioned prisoners and guards in all the prisons. And then we took 200, brought them down to Valikada, trained them, irrespective of whether they were prisoner or guard. They were one. And they went and performed. We got special permission to get a performance at Nelum Pokuna. And it was sold out with the concert. And what I saw was, the guards were putting makeup on the prisoners, giving them their outfits to get dressed up, because we were struggling for budgets at the same time. And then you see prisoners saying, "Ane miss, what හොඳට සින්දු කියන්න පුළුවන් නේ. ඔයා audition කරන්නම ඕනේ. අපි ඔයත් එක්ක." So it's like one family in there. Yes, you have maybe one case that comes out in the news, but does the news talk about all the good things that happen there?
What is your dream for women prisoners and also prisoners in general?
My dream is that we close the prisons, that we change everybody's heart and we don't need a prison anymore. I think it all comes with heart. It's with your conscience. I think the more you change and transform people from their heart, then it's a sustainable change.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Silico Life.
Stay connected with Kaleidoscope on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn to catch all our latest stories.